Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That must be Jeremiah with them.
That train is off the tracks.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is May 21st, 2024, and this is episode 712. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss Game 1 Pacers-Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Joining me this show are two of our three analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks in the crappy jingles. It's the Battle Chode, John Colson.
I don't even get it.
That's I do. It makes me laugh.
Well, that's the most important thing. What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out to incredible playoff basketball.
Shout out. From Tacoma, Washington out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Shutting out Wimby, apparently. The first rook to make first team all defense.
Yeah.
Still scared of that guy.
Not bad for a rookie. Yeah, I mean, there was like pretty legit talk about him for DPOY, and he definitely got some votes for it, but Gobert won.
You got
handily.
more.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but he was on the ballot and did receive some votes. Well, before we get into the show, I do want to remind listeners that they can support us, the longest-running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can support our show with your hard-earned money for as little as $1 per month. We're also now on the YouTube, so if you prefer to check us out there, if you're already in the neighborhood, you can just check us out over there. We're the Undebeatables, and our last couple hundred shows are on there as well.
Wow.
So like and subscribe, baby.
Let's do it.
All right, team. Well, we just finished watching Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals, May 21st, at the Garden, 8 o'clock tip. Pacers start slow. They start off on on the wrong end of a 12-0 run, but battle back end the first quarter, down by just 3, and actually tie it at halftime with a Halliburton sidestep banked, rattling around the rim 3-pointer, and yeah, take it tied into halftime. Actually, take a lead in the third quarter, and towards the end of the game, they already, the math already gets done these days. The win probability says with 6.1 seconds left, the Pacers are 88% win probable to take the game, and it was buried in the corner. I think it was Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, hits.
Great inbounds pass to get to a guy behind the 3-point arc, so he couldn't foul him for the 2-pointer.
Yeah,
and he cans it
and pushes the game to overtime. Pacers did have a look at the end, but nothing doing there, and we'll talk more about some of the details of this. But into overtime, Pacers make some mistakes, and Boston plays super well, makes fewer mistakes, and end the game in overtime, 133-128. I mean, there's a lot to talk about this game. I mean, there's let's say first thing, Pacers made some pretty rough unforced errors, particularly in clutch time. I mean, they did some fantastic things as well too. There was the free throw discrepancy, which is something that, I mean, probably needs to be discussed. Let's see, Boston was 24 for 30, which was 80%, which is great. And Pacers were 9 of 10, and most of those came with
overtime.
I mean, overtime. Yeah, I mean, there was 3 until like 2 minutes left in the game. Halliburton got fouled by Derek White shooting a 3 with less than 2 minutes left, and then maybe less than a minute left, and then there was 3 more in overtime. So Pacers get 10 free throws for the whole game, and essentially it was 3 almost until the close. So, I mean, Golson. I mean, what do you take away from this one? We had such a good chance to win this game.
Well, right. So my first thought is it's really hard to beat a team 5 times, and we had this team beat, and we lost this game. So trying to win the series now is going to have to beat them 5 times instead of just 4. But we did that in the New York series, so anything is possible. We had a similar situation in Game 1 at the Knicks, where we thought we had it and lost it down the stretch in a heartbreaking fashion. But my second thought is this was just a hell of a game. This was super fun. I've been watching all of these games. This was probably the most fun I've had watching a basketball game in these playoffs. It was super exciting. It was back and forth. It was really good basketball by both sides, and there were huge momentum swings and huge. You think somebody's gonna get an easy layup, and somebody's somehow getting a steal and going back the other way. It was exciting from okay, when we were down 0-12, I was a little concerned. But your Pacers shot 68% in the first half to get back in that game after after missing their first 6 shots. We were on fire. Yes, are we a young team on the road and made some boneheaded mistakes? Yes. But I thought we played a lot of really good basketball, and I think what I took away from this, and I hope what the Pacers take away from this, is that we can play with this team. We are good enough to be on this stage, in this building, with these guys. A team that's been to the Eastern Conference Finals, 4 out of the last 5 years? We looked like we belonged, and that's what's really exciting to me.
Yeah, we did a heck of a lot of things really well. We ended the game shooting over 50% from the field. We out-rebounded this team. Mm-hmm. We had 38 assists on the night. Mm-hmm. And normally when we do those things, we win basketball games. Unfortunately, tonight we also had 22 turnovers.
2 turnovers.
Which is not a good number for us. Hot
take.
We caught the Celtics sleeping a little bit here. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't cash in on that. They looked,
do you think
that's slow.
I mean, that's kind of my concern, is that they're going to come out, they're going to adjust, and and then now the advantage that we had took us by surprise, maybe steal a game, and maybe that's gone now.
Oh yeah, that's gone for sure. I mean, this is the hope. The story of us stealing this series was stealing this game. I get that. And down the stretch, we turn the ball over. The ball goes off Halliburton's foot. Goes out of bounds. We just, we couldn't get the ball inbounded in the last, 20 seconds of this game or whatever, twice. It just there were real
That led to that three.
Right. There were real mental errors. There were real stuff, that where we looked young and not prepared for the moment. And these guys have been there, and they pulled this out of their butt because we had this game won. We did, and but not only did they pull it out of their butt, we also helped hand it to them.
Yeah. Well, we put ourselves in a good position. I mean, they won the game, right?
Yeah.
We as a team need to be able to close out in those situations, and the series is certainly not over, but the already very slim margin that we had to play with just got a lot slimmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna have to play a pretty darn good series from here on out in order to take this thing from them.
Well, what I liked about the way that we responded to being down 12-0 is that we did respond and that we did play hard and that we got back in this game. If Nesmith doesn't foul out in overtime, it's possible we still win this game. We really missed him, and Tatum was able to do what he wanted with a layup and one and a wide open 3-pointer. If Nesmith's still in the game, maybe it's different, right? Like, he was fantastic in this game defensively. We had some weird mismatches that I wasn't thrilled about, which we're going to be able to go back and tape and look at. They threw a zone on us in the third quarter, which completely threw us off for about 6 minutes.
We didn't like that zone.
We did not like that zone. And, we are the kind of team that should be able to beat a zone. It just took us by surprise, and it took us longer to figure it out than I had hoped. But, again, we're going to be able to go back to the tape, and hopefully be ready for these things moving into Thursday night's game. I just took away from this, and, again, I hope the boys did too, that this isn't a big scary monster. This is a beatable team. We have an incredible offense, and if you play a little bit of defense, you can play with these guys.
And the defense really did show up tonight. It's not going to look like it in a 133-128 game, but
Right.
The effort was really good. It was a very fast-paced game. Both teams made some poor plays on both ends of the court. This was not the most polished game we're going to see from these teams. They looked a little rusty, and we looked a little tired, maybe. But it was a heck of an effort from both sides, and I'll take 7 games of this, please.
Yeah, for sure. It was so fun. I mean, Siakam was missing some bunnies up front that he normally hits. He got way better in the second half. But if he hits a few of those, this is a different game. Halliburton made a lot of questionable decisions in that fourth quarter. But he came through on some big threes. So, it's hard to beat him up too bad outside of the dribbling out of bounds thing. But, I just thought this was a heck of an effort.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree.
Miles Turner, brilliant in the first half.
Yeah,
18
Miles
points,
Turner
4 rebounds, 4 assists. I thought they did a better job of, containing him in the second half. Part of the reason I think they went to the zone was because who was the white guy that was guarding him in the first half court?
Cornet.
Yeah, Cornet. Yeah. Once he came in is when they went to the zone, and it kind of took the wind out of the sails for the whole team, and took a little momentum away from Miles Turner. Also we really allowed Al Horford to just destroy us, and Drew Holiday absolutely destroyed us. And it's like, I knew that Tatum was going to get 30 and that Jaylen Brown was going to get 25, But to allow those other guys just to wreck us is something we've got to look at.
So I do want to talk about the free throw discrepancy. I mean, I didn't notice during the game. I definitely did. I mean, I guess I didn't notice it much of the time, but there certainly were some. Like there was the Halliburton one where, he's going up for, he's going, into two guys, but I mean, he got.
They just rake him across the arm.
Yeah, it was just right across the. I mean, it was just plain as day. Right across the arm, So, you said you thought it was. I mean, I just thought that the game in general was called differently than the Knicks series, but I felt like it was. I mean, I didn't feel like it was. Did you feel like it was one-sided, or just that it was that there was less fouls called?
In Game 7 they let everything go in that Knicks series, so. It's not necessarily less fouls called. And they were letting a lot of stuff go and then occasionally calling, nothing on Tatum. But they were doing that with Brunson as well in the last series. So that didn't surprise me that much. Stars get calls. But this was pretty egregious. I mean, one of the things that I think the announcers were saying is that, Boston is... the second best defensive team in the league based on the percentages or whatever, but also they defend without fouling as somehow to justify the fact that we had no fouls, that we had not gone to the free throw line. Maybe part of that's true. I mean, defense without fouling is something that the Pacers and the previous Pacers used to hang their hat on. But
smash math, baby.
Yeah, smash math. But we could have had a few more calls go our way. I don't feel like the reason we lost this game is because of free throws. Although, if we'd had 5 more free throws and hit them, then this game's different, right? I mean, so maybe that is the difference. I don't know.
I mean, you hit a couple threes, things are different. I mean, I didn't think it was a terribly called game. I just think the reputations of these teams precede them. We foul a lot and don't go aggressively to the rim, and don't get. And they do the opposite. Exactly. They play defense without fouling, and they go aggressive.
And they go aggressively. Yeah, I agree.
And
You're not wrong.
Sorts of teams tend to get calls.
And this will probably be true throughout this series. They will have the majority of the calls in almost every game. But I don't know if this is the game, where, after the first 2 Knicks games where Carlisle was sending stuff to the league, I don't know if this is that kind of game. It didn't feel that egregious to me.
Yeah, I felt like there was individual ones, but it wasn't like, hey, here's 40 things that you did wrong. I didn't feel like, I didn't feel like it was that level.
Yeah. If you just blow less whistles, then you don't blow it 40 times. There can't be 40 things to critique, right?
That's true. Man, I tell you what though, that I'm hoping that the team learns from some of those mistakes. I mean, we had a lead with seconds left, and we had some bad turnovers and missed passes, bad inbounds late into the game, which came back to haunt us. I mean, for me, the feeling I had during most of the game is like, hey, we're in this and we're not playing great, but we're still scoring, and we've got a shot at this. And then we had a 5-point lead, sub 2 minutes, and that's when it was closeout time, and we were close to it, but not quite there.
Yeah, no, this is pretty devastating when you're talking about the series. But I thought for a single game going up against these guys in their house, they've got fresh legs. I was just really proud of the way that we played. I mean, I think the lesson to be taken from this is watching this team pass the ball. The pass always goes faster than the man, right? And there were long stretches of this thing where our offense just looked beautiful. It was just exactly perfect basketball. And when we got in trouble is when we dribbled too much. Obi Toppin decided that he was a dribbler for a while. Siakam tried to dribble too much. Halliburton dribbling too much. I mean, they're really good at poking the ball away. And we have to beat this team with the pass. We are not a skilled ball handling team. And I think that when you look at those 22 turnovers, I bet more than half of those are, us just dribbling too much and trying to do something that we didn't need to be doing against elite defenders. Every one of these guys in their starting lineups an elite defender.
Yeah, several of them also made the all-defensive team this year.
Yeah.
None of them rookies, though.
None of them rookies. This is true.
Man, I really wanted this game, and
I
felt
did
like
too,
you had
Joe.
it. It wasn't like some of the New York, the New York ones. A lot of those weren't close, and so it's easier as a fan to just watch those games when you're down 20 or up 20. There's less of a sting, at least in some sense.
I got all my steps in today, Joe. I was
Did
just
you?
pacing this entire time. I mean, I paced pretty much after the first quarter, the entire game.
That's how my game 7. Game 7, I was feeling it a big chunk of that game just because we looked good and I was worried we were going to win.
The shoe going to drop, right?
Yeah, I mean that was it. So this game felt different though. I guess let's give some props. The team got down and fought back several times, and they never, they didn't play well for stretches of the game, but they fought back and didn't just let it go. And they did that several times. It was the first quarter, the third quarter, and there was some clever shooting. I thought McConnell had a great game again, and Miles Turner had another monster tomahawk dunk, which had that been at home, the place would have gone nuts. The kind of I heard some
we got the
oohs
Garden
anyway.
Real quiet for
did.
long stretches of this game. I think they thought they were going to run away with this, and
They were wild in the first couple minutes, and then once the Pacers started making their run to get back into the game, it really did quiet down and was quiet there until the end. And then I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what. If you are a Boston Celtics fan, some of those people looked a little frightening on the TV. They were screaming, and their faces were interesting colors of reds and purples. So take care of yourselves, Boston. Eat some vegetables.
Well, what do you think, Joe? Have you changed your pick on the series now after Game 1?
No, I mean I made my pick. I said Pacers at 6 before the game. It's going to be certainly harder to do so now, but one thing is, I think that with our team that's been learning, Siakam and Nesmith are the ones with playoff experience.
Nesmith doesn't have any.
I'm pretty sure he
was on those Boston teams, but he didn't play.
Well,
he didn't see real minutes on those teams.
I mean, he was on those teams at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Those. I mean,
that matters. You're right.
Bruce Brown was on those. Bruce Brown did play and did nothing for us. So what's the point? Sorry, Bruce.
Fair
Brown.
enough. You're right.
What did you do?
Good on Nesmith's experience on being on those Boston teams.
But
on the bench.
he's been in the locker room. He's been around the guys.
Sure.
And I'm sure he was on the floor for some of that stuff. But
sure, there's
no substitute to being on a team that has done that stuff. Watching it on TV does not cut it. So my point was mostly that those guys have been there or been around. They still rode the same plane and they got to go to the same locker room as the good players, as John Colson says. So Neesmith is not one of the good ones.
No,
but
it's not. You're putting my words in my dumb mouth, sir.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt now. So, but I think that the team has grown. I mean, we've got a lot of experience from this playoffs. This is all gravy now, anyway.
Right, of course.
But the team has learned a lot, and I think that they're going to understand now what the changes are going to. You don't know what the changes are exactly. We don't know, because the game just finished. We haven't had time. Our video guy is on a plane right now, so we haven't had time to go over the film. But there's going to be changes made, and I think that the team is going to, Boston's of course going to make their changes. We're going to make some changes as well. And I think Carlisle is shown that he's one of the coaches that matter. So we're going to come out and bring it, and hopefully, these guys can be a little more careful with the ball, particularly towards the end of the game.
Yeah. More rebounds, less turnovers equals W.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think once Drew Holiday decided to sort of eat up Halliburton, I wonder if there was a switch we could have made earlier. But then maybe Derek White would have gone nuts. I don't know.
Just trading out one all NBA defensive guy for another.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot to they've got it, and I don't even really dislike this team. I've always liked Drew Holiday.
Don't worry, I dislike Boston enough for both of us.
Okay, fair enough. I maybe dislike them, but as individuals, they're fairly likable players. I was trying to trade for Jaylen Brown for a while.
Yeah, it didn't work, and now I hate him.
I think that as a whole, this team is way less hateable than the Knicks.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaylen Brown was annoying, but DiVincenzo,
Oh, nobody's going to reach those heights on this. I could see myself hating Pritchard, but we'll get there.
Maybe. But they're like, it's annoying. They're like professionals. They go out and they do their job, and they did it pretty well. And they didn't. But anyway, it's early days in this series. By game 3,
we'll have found some enemies.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find something going on.
Well, and Jaylen Brown got the interview after the game. He hit the game tying 3 to send it to overtime, and he's like, "Look, these guys are good. We just have to be better." We got away with one. We got away with one here. We just have to play better. And they are capable of playing better. But so are we. We could not turn over the ball 22 times, especially in the clutch.
Yeah, a couple of those late ones were abnormal, for us. Some of the other ones were normal, though. The play I was just so impressed with was the one that there was a turnover. Pacers took the ball. I think it was Halliburton sent a ball ahead of Siakam, but Drew Holiday poked it and had to save it. I think this was in the first half, and had to save. Drew Holiday had to throw it back into play just so it wouldn't have been out on him. And Siakam is, tall and gangly. But he knows what's going to happen because Holiday only has one play at this, and the ball is it's just good, fun playoff basketball where Siakam has to hustle down there to be in the play, and Siakam just in the nick of time with while falling out of bounds, because he's always falling out of bounds.
Right,
that's what he does.
It's his MO.
And what's his name? No Good Neesmith is coming up the floor. And Siakam gets in the ball and save it. It's one of those extra baskets that we're gonna need more of those. If we're not getting free throws, we're gonna need more stuff.
Yeah. But no, I thought we, the 50-50 balls were 50-50. Like I don't feel like they destroyed us on all the hustle plays. We got some, Halliburton in particular pulled a couple of balls out of the air on those, when they put too much air on the pass, and he would just stick his big old arm up there and grab it, and then it's a steal. We just played so well in this game, outside of some mental errors down the stretch. Like we really fought hard and really played well. I'm just really proud of these guys. This was a fun ass game.
Well, we're gonna have more fun ass games. Game 2 is Thursday night. Another 8 o'clock tip, I believe. And we'll see if the Pacers can respond there. I'm hopeful that they are. Harper, what's your prediction for Game 2?
Gotta go get it.
Okay.
It's Deb. Need a Deb.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Colson, I know, says we don't have enough experience. And
yeah, because Neesmith doesn't count, apparently. So, on a technicality.
Look, I want to stay competitive with them on Thursday. I would love to steal a game from them on Thursday. I do think that's the math to winning the series, but nothing's out of reach. I can assume what I've witnessed is this team gets better every series. It gets better every game. We looked nervous as hell in Game 1 of this playoffs. We looked like we didn't belong in Game 5 against a beat up Milwaukee team. But in the Knicks series, we looked much more like we knew what was going on, and we played damn near perfect basketball in Game 7 to win in the Garden, and then we just went into Boston and played an incredibly good game, and had a chance to win it. Probably should have won it. This team is... I don't know if this team knows its own ceiling. We're hanging together. We care about each other. We're learning as we go, and we're watching this team mature game by game, minute by minute. I'm not going to put a ceiling on this team at this point. I don't know what happens on Thursday. And even if we lose by 1 million on Thursday, I don't know what's going to happen when we come back to Indiana. Like, this is a good team, and we're playing the right way and for the right reasons, and I'm just really excited. I can't wait for this series to continue.
all right. Well, you wouldn't bet that they would lose by 1 million, though, right?
No, I'm not. I would not put money.
Shaky bet.
I would not put money on that one.
All right, good.
I don't know what the over/under is, but
I'm taking all the action
on the under out of
Celtics
1
by
million.
1 million.
Wow.
So Joe, you said Pacers in 6.
I did.
I'm saying Pacers in 6. I don't want to double up, but I think that's the right pick.
Okay. Jason said Pacers at 7 in Boston. In Boston.
I mean, he picked that in the New York series, and it worked out. So.
Yeah.
And Harper.
Said yes.
You picked Boston in 6. Yeah.
I want to give one more shout out before we go to Obi Toppin, who had a game that was inconsistent. But early in the game, he was making stuff happen. He scored like 10 points in the first quarter, I think. He was getting work done. But later in the game was having, you mentioned he was dribbling a little too much. I mean, while he was doing that, I was like, there's some sensors in my brain that when certain things start happening, they say, hey, this is warning time. And when Toppin was dribbling too much, it's like this is going to end poorly.
And it did.
Sure enough.
Yeah, I thought he and Halliburton had moments of feeling themselves a little too much, but you got to have confidence. You got to believe you can beat the other team. So don't want to take away from those guys.
For sure. No, you got to ride that fine line between the confidence and overextending. So, but that's
the pass is better than the dribble.
Generally, yeah. Unless it just ends in Halliburton's hands. I guess it's way better for us. But he had a couple, just out of nowhere at the very last second, just like whip, just clean catch, and hey, guess what? We're on a break. All right, team. Well, we'll be back with you later this week, hopefully after game 2. Anything else, analysts? Go Pacers.
Go Pacers.
On 3. Wait. All right, team. Well, we'll be back with you then. Until then, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. Our website is TheUndebeatables.com. There's also a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. And email. Shout out at TheUndebeatables.com. And YouTube, we are The Undebeatables.
For our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sook Leonard. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Yeah, boy.
I really thought we had this thing.
Yeah, we did. Like I said, 88% predicted to win with 6 seconds left.
I mean, I was pacing up and down, being like, look, it's okay. This is super fun. We're having a great time. I know we're going to lose. But we're having a great time. And then, we were there. We were right there. And I was like, oh, my God, we're actually going to do this. And then...
And then we did.
And then I was like, well, we're going to overtime. We're going to lose this. But I was like, but then we even started out overtime well.
Just did 2 more plays.
Yeah.
Oh, if Neesmith would have played more in Boston, then we would win this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
If he had that experience, then
if he'd been on the floor, I do think this is a different overtime. But, I think we also had, hit him with our best punch to get that win. And then once it was overtime, we probably weren't going to win that one. Yeah. Well, there's always the next day because these things play every other day.
Yeah.
exactly.
We don't have to suffer too long.
Nope.
Well, no one in the world gave us a chance at this, so I feel pretty good about our performance.
Yeah, not a bad. Certainly a good effort. Just didn't get the result.
Get them next time.